Good afternoon students and welcome to today's lecture. In today's lecture we will be dealing about the topic asexual reproduction. The word A stands for absent and sexual means sex cells or gametes. So the process in which no sex cells or gametes are involved and a new organism is formed from a single parent, this process is called as asexual reproduction. If I want to give you a proper definition, so the asexual reproduction can be defined as the process of formation of new organism without the involvement of gametes or sex cells only from a single parent is called as asexual reproduction process. So since only one parent is involved in the process of asexual reproduction, the organisms so produced by this method are identical to the parents, which means there is no variation in the offsprings so produced by the method of asexual reproduction. Since there are no variations in the offsprings have the same characteristics as the parents. So this method is especially useful when we want to obtain offsprings which are having the same characteristics as that of parents. Now, this process of asexual reproduction generally takes place by 6 methods. The first one, fission; second, budding; third, spore formation; fourth, regeneration; fifth, fragmentation; and last one, the vegetative propagation method. So in this video, we will be dealing the process of fission in detail. What do you mean by fission? How can we define fission actually? What happens? Many unicellular organisms such as protozoa, amoeba, paramecium, they just split it into two parts. So in biology, the fission can be defined as the process of breaking or splitting of an organism to form either two or more new organisms is called as the process of fission. What happens? This process of fission takes place in only and only unicellular organisms. Okay. Now, on the basis whether two organisms are formed or two or more new organisms are formed by the process of fission, the fission process is classified into two types. The first one is the binary fission. In binary fission, what happens? Only two organisms are formed from a single parent. While in multiple fission, many new organisms are formed in multiple fission. Now we will be dealing how the process of binary fission actually takes place in unicellular organisms. So what is meant by binary fission? Actually, the process of splitting of a single parent to form two identical organisms is called as the process of binary fission. In binary fission, only two organisms are formed, two offsprings are produced from a single parent. This process of binary fission takes place in unicellular organisms like amoeba, paramecium, leishmania. Okay, so now we will discuss how the process of binary fission actually takes place. The process of binary fission actually involves a series of processes. Once the amoeba organism has eaten and has grown to its maximum length, what happens? The elongation or the lengthening of the nucleus takes place. After the lengthening of the nucleus takes place, this nucleus gets divided into two daughter nuclei which are present inside the same organism. Now, after the formation of this two daughter nuclei, then the elongation of the cytoplasm of amoeba takes place, which breaks down to form two daughter organisms or two daughter amoebae. Now, the process of binary fission in amoeba might take place in any plane. Paramecium, it also divides by the same process of binary fission, and in paramecium also the process of binary fission or fission might take place in any plane. But in organisms like leishmania, which causes the disease called as the Kala Azar, the process of binary fission takes place in a definite plane, that is longitudinally. Now we will discuss about the process of multiple fission. What is meant by multiple fission? Actually, the process of formation of more than two new organisms from a single parent is called as the process of multiple fission. Actually, this process of multiple fission usually takes place under unfavorable conditions. When the food is not available, when the temperature is high, when all the conditions which do not support reproduction is not favorable, then the process under which reproduction takes place in certain organisms is the multiple fission process. Now we will discuss how the multiple reproduction process takes place in an organism called as the plasmodium, a parasite which causes malaria. What happens on arrival of this unfavorable conditions? This plasmodium cell gets covered with a protective covering which is called as the cyst wall. Now this cyst wall protects the plasmodium from these unfavorable conditions. This plasmodium cell splits into two cells or two new organisms, leading to the deposition of small cytoplasm in each cell. Now further divisions also takes place inside the cell, leading to the deposition of small amount of cytoplasm and the nucleus in each cell. Now as soon as the favorable conditions arrive, this cyst is broken down and the plasmodium cells are released into the environment. So this was all about the process of fission. I hope this video was a help to you. Keep watching, like this channel, subscribe this channel, like the video, share the video. Stay home, stay safe.